John Delarosa wins Tampa, straight ones, and he's going to the Olympia.
I created Species Nutrition with one mission in mind: to provide bodybuilders and serious athletes with no-nonsense supplements that work. I put my name and reputation on every bottle of Species Nutrition products. If you want to be your absolute best, join the evolution. And we are back for another installment of Heavy Muscle Radio. I'm Dave Palumbo, joined by the technician Chris Aceto, and we actually have a special guest today with us too, John Hansen. So welcome, John Hansen.
What's up, guys?
You just got back from the Tampa Pro, right?
Yes.
John, you're on the front line. It feels like when there's a war and the ABC news affiliate says, and now we're cutting to the guy who's got the helmet on and he's on the front line. John Hansen was right there.
On the front line, right.
Well, John, Tampa's always been it seems like it's a big show every year because I think it's at a really good time of the year in the sense that it's not the last qualifier of the year. It used to be for a while.
To be, yeah.
But it's probably one of the main qualifiers because it's right dead center in the middle of the summer. Obviously, Texas next week is going to be probably the other big qualifier for the Olympia. Talk to me a little bit about what you saw, because I don't think a lot of people thought, myself included, I didn't think I was going to see John Delarosa until the Olympia again, and he decides at the last minute, I don't know what his reason was, to jump in this show, which I thought at first glance maybe not a good idea, but he wins, and he takes home a nice paycheck for it, too.
Yeah, he was in great shape. Much improved from last year when he got second to Hunter, particularly in just his muscularity. His waist was tighter. That's the one thing I really noticed about him. And of course, he's got that great symmetry, and he's got the good size and proportions. But the second place guy, you could help me with his name, Dave. He was
Mo Photo, yeah. There's John.
Yeah, the guy who won Chicago I was very, very impressed with him.
Mo Photo.
Before, yeah.
Yeah.
John, what was the difference between, so where's the distinction between 1, 2, and 2 and 3?
What was the guy's name in second again, Dave?
Mo Photo.
Yeah, he was. I thought he actually was bigger and more of a wow factor. I was actually more impressed with him, but he just wasn't quite as hard. And Delarosa definitely beat him in the abs and just a little bit in the hardness. But that guy was very, very impressive.
Which is interesting, Chris, because usually we're talking about John being the guy who's got the great shape and flow and is just not hard enough. And it seems like, the last couple of contests we've seen John at, including the Arnold, he's just been getting, granity hard. I don't know what changed. Maybe it's muscle maturity, but he's definitely looked really good his last few outings.
Well, I thought that, well, John was there, so that's why I asked John. I mean, I agree that, from the front, Mohammed Boda is, especially in, the front lat spread, it's got, big legs, big shoulders, big taper.
Those in the green trunks, for those of you who might not know. Just letting you know.
But I thought this was the best John ever. And then also better than the Arnold. I thought he was, had better pec fullness here, better condition than the Arnold. I thought his back double might have been, based on the photos, a deciding factor on why he came out in first place, because his back looked great. I agree with John. His ab shot is great because he's got a small waist, and he's got. There's not a lot of poses where you can pick apart. His side tricep is good because the legs, really full from the side. His arms are big from the side. Side chest look really good.
Yeah.
What was his best shot, John?
Probably his front double and his rear double.
You know what it is about John, and I've said this in the past, he doesn't have a best shot, but he doesn't have a worst shot either. He's so balanced, all around.
Which is why I thought it was the best shot, because they all look good.
They all look, and nothing jumps out at me and says, wow, that's his best shot. But I don't also see a shot where I say, wow, he's weak in this shot. He's not weak in any shots, really.
No.
And it seemed like the other three guys, Jordan Hutchinson on the right, and then we have Vlad Saruko on the left there. It seems like all those guys had slightly washed out abs. And I don't know if that's the video I'm seeing, or was that the case, John, in person too?
Yeah. Jordan was very hard everywhere, except, like you said, the abs, and the same thing with Vlad. And Vlad had those jimmied up shoulders, which threw me off, I thought.
Yeah, you think the judges are starting to get a little sick of that? I kind of bought them in the last time I saw him, and now I'm thinking, they look a little overdone. Maybe he's doing it too much.
They were definitely overdone. I noticed it right when he walked out.
Yeah.
He should have baked him at like 375 instead of 500.
Right.
He probably would have great shoulders anyway because he has a lot of muscle there. I don't think he has to overdo it. And maybe it looks overdone because his shoulders are big anyway. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, he's got a lot of muscle everywhere. I don't think he needed to add
No. I think people get a little over. It's like the guys who have 23-inch arms, they want 24-inch arms. You don't need
John,
24-inch arms.
what knocked him into like fourth place?
I guess just overall hardness. Honestly, the shoulders really threw me off. I kind of dismissed him out of the top three right when I saw that. I thought Jordan was very good. Overall, just very good, very hard everywhere, except, like you said, the abs and Vlad just weren't coming through. Even the second place guy, Mohammed, that's where he lost, I think, to Delarosa.
Yeah. John, his abs were really tight.
Yeah, John's got a good abs out there.
And
if that guy comes in really tight, man, he's dangerous. He's got a really complete physique, great legs, great calves, and just a lot of wow factor. That's how he came in
Chicago. I was there. It was very tight in Chicago.
You can tell he's sweating a little bit too. It's like he's holding definitely a little bit of water, I think, in here. And I don't know what could have caused that, but he wasn't. Can
a judge make it an argument for Mohammed Foda winning?
Yeah. A lot of the people I was sitting with thought he should have won, and I think it was because he was just overall more impressive, more just bigger, and just created more of an impact.
I mean, the reason I asked is because and it's great to have you on the show, John, because he does make a big impact. He made a big impact on me when I saw him in Chicago. And I thought that, running into the show when I saw like this morning who was in it, first thing that came to my mind is, I wonder if Delarosa's back will just put him away. Because John's got a great back double bicep, and the only flaw really right now on Mohammed Foda is the back double. You see like big front lat spread, takes up more space, right? In the lineup.
More thickness, more size, yeah.
He's got more size, but John gets away with it because of the flow and the symmetry.
Yeah.
And then, so I thought it might come down to like who has the least amount of weaknesses. And I think that the back double is a weakness in the context of he doesn't have.
Look at that back double. That's a great back double right there.
Yeah, he does have a great back double. And I think also, Chris, I think it was the abs too. Because that's one of the last mandatories.
Yes.
And, he did beat him on the ab shot too.
I think that this video is a lot clearer than the other one we just watched. I think you can see John's conditioning a lot better here. The other one, you couldn't really see the all the bonuses he had. I think this really shows it off. Look, at the end of the day, I always say when it's close, conditioning wins shows. John brought the conditioning. In video, sometimes you can look a little, when you're conditioned, you look a little smaller and it doesn't look as impressive. But when you're sitting in that first row and you look at and you see that fibery look and you see that dry, hard look, it's very impressive. And I'm sure in person, John, he probably looked really good, I would assume. Yeah.
What I remember John from years ago, I mean, I always remember him as being very proportionate, good size, good overall symmetry. But I always remember the abs being a little bit weak. And I've noticed now this year at the Arnold and this show, the abs are there. They're definitely standing out,
Let's look at Mo Photo here for a second. Let's watch him hit his mandatories here. He's very broad. That's what I notice when I see him. His width is very impressive,
Yeah. And very thick.
John, he won Chicago with your old stomping ground with no tan.
Right. Yeah.
He didn't have
I wasn't there, obviously, but I saw pictures from that show, and he impressed me.
Tan is much better here. Much better here.
Yeah.
He's got kind of high attached lats too. That sometimes it can sometimes work against you. I think his abs were sharper in Chicago, because you're right.
Definitely. Yeah.
And I think these judges, you can't help it, but they judge against you best. If they saw you 2 weeks ago and you were better, it is close. You're not going to get the nod here.
So you forgot to tan his face.
Yeah. Why do you think some of these guys? I understand you don't want your face as dark as your body, but you got to put something on your face at the last minute.
Sure. Yeah.
My father used to go crazy. My father would look at bodybuilders. He wouldn't even comment on their physiques. He'd be like, "What's with this coloring? What's with this coloring? The face is wrong, and the underarms." I'm like, "That's." He's like, "I'm an artist. That's what I see."
I've noticed the underarms are messed up a lot of these guys.
Yeah,
that in the classic too.
Yeah, I don't know why these guys put their shirt on before the tan is dry.
Yeah,
I used to stand around for 6 hours before waiting for the tan to dry. I was so paranoid.
How close, John, was it between second and third?
Well, we're looking at Jordan Hutchinson here. He made a lot of
improvements. It was close on I think it was close on the scorecards.
Was it?
It was close enough. Yeah.
The scorecard, Mo Photo had an 11 and a 10, and then Jordan had 14 and a 15. One judge liked Jordan better, but it was pretty much unanimous second place for Photo, which just tells you that maybe John and Mo were not as close as we might think. If one judge actually thought that Mo should have been third,
Oh, really? Yeah, I would have him definitely in second. I would have third.
You would add who second?
Mo.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about Jordan. I mean, he's made some crazy improvements from last year. We've seen a lot of these young guys, coming in. They're making the improvements. They're putting on the muscle. They're bringing good conditioning to the stage. That's what we want to see. I mean, these are the guys that are going to be pretty much battling it out for the next 10 years on stage. So,
yeah.
Are you impressed? What do you think he needs to work on?
I was impressed with him. I thought he looked really good. This is another guy I never saw before in person. Very proportionate, good size all over, good legs. Just, maybe just a little bit harder.
Yeah, he has very good legs.
Yeah, I think his midsection looks a little washed out too. And I don't, Chris, what causes that in your expert opinion?
I think that bigger guys, super heavies, when they're a little bit overcarb, spill in the abs. I don't know why.
They've got the ripped glutes. They don't have the abs.
Yeah. Everyone, because it's there's a general deficiency among a lot of bodybuilders when it comes to abs, right? I mean, people don't. They don't focus on abs. I don't know if it's because they don't focus on abs when they first start training, so they're like underdeveloped. But when you spill, it goes to a body part. Generally, that's not. I mean, you can see it visually in a body part. That's not your strongest body part. If you have a weak back and you hold in water, you'll see it in the back. You're not going to see it in your quads if you have great quads. And so if you don't, super deep abs, chances are you're going to see it in that area.
That's interesting. Yeah.
That's a good point.
I mean, you're gonna see it in the area that because if you have super crazy thick abs, it doesn't matter if you are holding water, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
That's true. Yeah.
Here's Lewis Breed, who took 5th place. He kind of impressed us last year. He came out of nowhere. No one really expected to see him. Always brings really good conditioning. He doesn't have the best shape. He has a lot of muscle on his body. Very conditioned. Placed his 5th here. Is he impressive in person? He looks very big. He looks like he puts more size on.
He's very impressive. Very, very big. He's a monster. He was bigger than everybody.
Yeah, I was just going to say, John, he looks, you took the one he just said, he looks like the biggest guy in the show, right?
He looks freaky. Yeah. We love that. I mean too bad no one hires anymore.
It's like a Marvel superhero.
Yeah.
Why is he landing 5th as opposed to 4th?
Not the greatest shape.
Yeah, that's what I figured you'd say.
But a lot of size and pretty hard.
Yeah. I wondered if just, a judge would say, not put together well enough to move up higher than 5th.
Yeah. The top 4 here were really good. I mean, in terms of structure and everything like that, and size, and everyone in this lineup really was in good shape. So you can't even say, oh well, this guy didn't deserve to be up there because he wasn't in. We're nitpicking with abs not being sharp enough and everything like that. I seem to think that we're seeing that more often in the last 10 years or so. Because I think, like you said, Chris, you made a very valid point. I think guys think they have to carb up on 3,000 grams of carbs a day, because if they don't, they're going to be too flat, and the judges are going to tell them they're too flat. So even the guys that are in really good shape, if you overcarb, it'll ruin your physique. People think, all right, I'm in the best shape of my life. I have 0 body fat. I can eat whatever I want. No, you can't. Even I've tried that in the past too, and I've spilled over a little bit. I look enormous, and I was hard. But it seems like the abs and the lower back sometimes are what you lose. And there's nothing more impressive on stage. I'm not talking about in the gym. Nothing more impressive on stage is when you have that feathered lower lats and your waist looks like it's shrink wrap. I mean, that's what won Hadi Chupin the Arnold Classic.
Yeah.
Well, Dave, that and I think that a lot of people we're in the age of mass.
Yeah.
And people focus on legs, back, shoulders, and abs sometimes as an afterthought. And look how that's working out for Hadi Chupin.
His abs are incredible.
His abs are completely insane.
Mm-hmm. And there's so few guys now that have. There's so few guys that have really, really sharp abs that when you do have them, they really stand out.
Yeah, John.
Well, John, you have very thick abs, John. Did you always train your abs your whole career?
Well, it was interesting what Chris said, because I remember I trained them hard in the beginning, and it seems like my experience looking at other bodybuilders, when you have good abs from the beginning, they kind of stay there all the time. Then you don't really have to train them as hard as long as you have them, when you first start.
But John, did you always train abs?
I told my 18-year-old John, you have to train abs every single day.
That's what I do. Yeah, I do that. I believe that.
Do it every day, because you know what? Once you have them, like you said, then you can go down to 2 days a week. But once you have unbelievable abs, you train them twice a week.
Yeah. Yeah, I always had them, Dave.
I think there's something to training them every day and giving you good abdominal control, though, too.
Yeah.
It enables you to have a better movement of them. I don't know. When you don't train them as often, I feel like they can get lazy and just kind of lay there. And as you get older, that connective tissue that surrounds the abs gets a little lax. And that's why you see older people. You ever see these old men with their stomachs hanging out? It's not that they're fat. They just have all the connective tissue that holds their organs and everything, and just goes back.
They stopped working out.
Yeah.
What?
They stopped working out.
It's like the Homer Simpson, look. So you got to work those abs. They seem to respond better to high volume and higher reps.
Definitely.
I think the people who do too much weight will thicken, the core muscles underneath too much, and that can sometimes work against you too. So
Yeah, definitely.
John, were you at the Arnold?
No.
Okay.
I was there.
I
What do you
wanted to
think?
ask if Delarosa better here or there.
I think he's about the same. I think he's the same. He was really good at the Arnold.
Yeah, I think he's better here. I think his we're harping on it, but I thought his ab shot looked like smoking here.
Yeah.
Had he qualified? Was he already qualified?
No, he was not
I don't
qualified.
think he was. No.
Oh, that's right. He got a few, but I forgot he had for some reason, I thought he qualified, but you're right. He was like second a few times, right? So this was a good move for him then. Oh, it's a good move on his part. That's why he did the show. I got it. All right. Well, that's great that he qualified here. He definitely deserved it. He busted his ass this year. He did about 4 shows already, right?
Yeah, going all the way back to the Arnold too. It's a long.
He did both Arnolds.
He did both Arnolds, right?
Yeah.
He didn't do all 3. He did 2 Arnolds, right?
Yeah, he did. You did 2 of the. Yes, he did 2.
I'm gonna hold on. I have a little vignette I want to play of some pictures that John sent me. Hansen from the show. Let me see if I can pull these up. You can talk us through these pictures. Hold on.
All right. That's Tim Gardner, of course, and we're standing next to my friend Aaron Reed, who's from,
Aaron. You know Aaron trains at my gym.
He's in the Wolverine Deadpool movie.
I know he's what is he called? The guy with the Juggernaut, right? Juggernaut. Right.
Tim Gardner standing on his toes there, if you can see, because he's
I can see him on his toes.
His Aaron's about 6'7".
He's about almost 6'8", I think. He's very impressive in the gym. He there's 2 gyms he trains at in Cape Coral. I run into him in Crunch occasionally, and we chatted up a little bit.
Yeah.
I believe, if I'm correct, isn't he friends with Ryan Reynolds?
Yes. He's been in a commercial that Ryan did, because Ryan produced the commercial. And then he was in, was it Free Guy? Where he had Ryan Reynolds' face, and he played the body. Yeah.
Well, what he told me was, first of all, Ryan Reynolds is a great guy. And I have a little history with him because my friend Bobby Schramm used to train Ryan in California, and he put him on all my Species nutrition supplements. And Ryan was so nice and liked the supplement so much that when GQ did an interview with him, he actually showed the Species containers the GQ article, and which I thought was really nice because he didn't have to do that. And so when I guess Aaron told me when he met Ryan on that the first shoot, they kind of exchanged numbers and became friends. And I guess now Ryan will call him, if there's a part that he thinks he's can do, and that's pretty cool. I mean, Aaron was no one to Ryan. He was a big star, and I thought that was pretty cool that he did that.
Yeah.
But congratulations, Aaron. I was talking about that on the last show. All right, let's go to the next picture. There we go. There's Mr. Olympia, Derek Lunsford. He out-angled you there. He's got a bigger arm than you.
I look like I never trained in my life.
He did get the jump on you though. He is a little ahead of you there, John. So I'll give you the credit.
He's been taking a lot of photos. He knows how to do the angles.
Yeah. Is he a lot bigger than he was last year?
Yeah, very impressive. Very impressive.
You think he's going to win again?
Did you see those back shots he just took with Ronnie?
Yeah, he looked good.
It looks really good. Yeah, I think he's got a really good shot of beating Hottie again.
Yeah. What do you think, Chris? Think he's going to do it?
He's got a very good shot to win a game.
Is he going to beat Andrew Jack?
Talk to me after Texas.
Yeah, we're going to see Andrew Jack next week in Texas. That's right.
Yeah, I can't wait to see that.
Yeah, it's going to be great. All right, let's go to the next picture.
Ronnie Coleman got the. Okay, I'm getting ahead of you there.
Yeah, we're getting to it. We're getting to it. Don't jump the gun. So Ronnie Coleman got the Ben Weider Lifetime Achievement Award.
Yeah.
Did you get any of that $1 billion that Ben Weider had in the bank?
Ronnie gave like about a 25-minute speech.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Poor Tim and his wife were holding the trophy for like a half hour, waiting for him to get done so they could give him the trophy.
There's Tyler Mannion on the left, Steve Weinberger. There's Ronnie, Tim Gardner's wife, and then Dan Solomon was there. So got the whole crew there. Now, what did Ronnie say? Did he have any funny anecdotes?
Well, he went right back to the beginning when he joined Brian Dobson's gym, or before that, like when he went to college and then got a job, and then he finally got. He's
like Valentino now, Chris. He tells the same story over and over again.
He said he didn't want to get into bodybuilding because of the drugs, and everybody starts laughing.
Yeah. The funny thing is, he didn't even know there were drugs in bodybuilding when he first got into it.
Right.
He didn't have any idea anyone was taking any drugs. That's the irony of the whole thing.
But he gave a lot of credit to Vicky Gates, which I thought was nice.
Oh, that was nice of him to do that. Yeah. They were dating for years.
I mentioned Flex Wheeler about being a great inspiration as far as his rival.
Right.
Yeah, it was a good speech.
Yeah. Didn't you say he also said something about Lee Priest?
Oh, yeah, he did.
What did he say?
He said at one time he did the Arnold and he lost to this little guy who was about 4'8". And he goes, I don't want to mention his name. And then he goes, Lee Priest.
That's great.
He went back to the hotel room.
He can't get over that. Yeah, he can't get over that. Yeah.
Dave, let's see if you could see. Coleman wore that crown in 2005. Which wrestler used to wear that in the WWE?
Jerry Lawler.
Jerry
Lawler.
Huh?
Jerry Lawler.
No, Ernie Ladd.
Oh. I thought wasn't Jerry Lawler the king?
Cowboys, and he was in the WWF.
I thought that Jerry Lawler was the king. He wore that crown. No, I might be wrong.
He might have got it from Ernie Ladd.
Here's John's pictures of the. There you go. There's Jordan Hutchinson on the left.
John, your pictures there. Yeah, wow.
Yeah, you got some good pictures there.
Yeah, I was sitting pretty close.
I'm surprised they didn't kick you out of there for taking pictures.
I think pictures were okay. Just couldn't take video.
Oh, Tim allowed pictures. That was nice of him. Unfortunately, it's a lot of shows they don't let you take pictures. I don't know why.
I'm nominated Vlad. Vlad has the best hair in bodybuilding, best hairline. He's taken Jay Cutler's place.
Yeah, look at that. That's
back hair.
That kind of hair there. Yeah. There's Tim Budashine on the right with John Delarosa. Who's that right there? Number 20 or 20.
I think his name was Antoine something. I'm not sure. He had really good physique, though. Very good shape.
Yeah, he looks like this. Got a good most muscular.
Yeah, very wide shoulders, small waist, real good symmetry.
Well, thank you for those pictures, John.
John, what happened to the whatever happened? Give me a 3-sentence summary to Ben Weider's Olympic stream. Because you're a historian. I mean, you're right, like the active historian of bodybuilding right now.
Yeah, I think basically it was the drugs. I think he was trying for decades to try to get it in the Olympics. He became good friends with was it Samarak? Wanted Samarak?
You know what the funny thing is? Not to interrupt you, but you know what I was just thinking? You think that Ben Weider would have gone, that they have the new enhanced games coming out where you're going to be able to do steroids and they're not going to drug test you? You think Ben could have gotten into the enhanced games and he could have said, we are finally accepted into the international games, the enhanced games, maybe for bodybuilding, right?
Remember, Chris, when they used to have the World Games, which was like the alternative, like the Olympic game, they were like kind of associated with the Olympics, but they were just sports that weren't officially in the Olympics.
Yeah.
For several years or for several times when they had those, what were they called? Not the Olympic Games. What did I just say?
The World Games. World Games.
Yeah, the World Games. Yeah. But they had it in the bodybuilding was in there for several times.
Right. Yeah. But think about it. The enhanced games, you're not going to get the best talent pool because the top athletes in the world want to do the Olympics and they're using drugs anyway. So it doesn't even matter. So you're not going to get, but bodybuilding would be a perfect insert into those enhanced games because they already take drugs in bodybuilding. And so it's not a big jump. And it might actually give bodybuilding a bigger bump if they're going to put this on TV or they're going to make a big deal or Netflix or whatever they're going to do. If bodybuilding got in there and they put up some prize money for that, it could put bodybuilding on the map, you know, and it could help the enhanced games a lot more promote what they're doing, because it's like it's something you don't see in the Olympics, you know.
Dream, yeah.
John,
So
I always disliked when Ben would give his Olympia. See, I hold it as more prestigious than the Olympics. When he'd give his
Olympic speech,
groveling Olympic speech at the
every
Olympia,
year. Yeah.
Do your
impression. The biggest show on the planet, and it's not really. We can't give it our own stamp of approval because we're not in the Olympics. You know, it's like an apology tour.
Yeah.
Well,
No, but he wasn't apologizing. He was promising he was going to get it in there. He would promise every year.
And you know, I mean, we love bodybuilding, but the flip side is he'd give the speech, and then you know you'd sit there in the audience and you say, "Well, look at all the stupid sports that are in the Olympics."
Mm-hmm.
I mean, these like outlier sports that are in the Olympics. So why even bother? Why not just focus on making it like what it's actually become, right?
It's like he was trying to get into a club that didn't want to have him as a member. That's really what it was.
That's exactly what it was, Dave. You've just summarized that in one sentence.
Yeah.
You won the award tonight. He was trying to get to a club, which they didn't want him. And you know what? He was probably throwing like money their way, and they would just like put up with him.
It would be like Chris if I wanted to get into the Napoleon Club. He wouldn't let me in because I'm not a Napoleon expert.
I asked Joe about it. Joe could care less.
No, because Joe wasn't making any more money being in the Olympics. He probably would have lost money because he would have had a drug test everything, you know. After that, he didn't want to do it.
But it would kind of like, you know, maybe it would take the prestige away from his competition.
Right. You know that him and Ben would argue about that at Hanukkah and Passover dinner, I'm sure.
You know what's so funny too? Olympia, Olympics. Why even bother? You know what I mean? It's just like 3 letters on the end.
Yeah. Joe is probably like Ben's probably like pass the matzah, Ben, and Ben's like Joe, we have to be in the Olympics. We're gonna have to start drug testing. Joe's like pass the cranberry sauce. I don't want to talk about this at Thanksgiving.
It'd be like this anyway. It'd be like, okay, it's in the Olympics. Who won it? So and so. How did he do in the Olympia? He didn't qualify. You know, he was 11th at Tampa.
No, Ronnie Coleman would have been the Olympic champion if that was the case. Think about it. In '91, Ronnie turned pro. He won the World Amateur Championships. No drugs. You could have sent him to the Olympics. Who would have beat him? Right? Forget about it. Sean Roden would have continued that streak probably if he would have stayed. You know, if he would have stayed natural too.
Yeah.
I started going to the Olympia as a kid, watching it in the '70s, the late '70s, and I heard that speech every year from Ben Weider. I'm getting closer. I'm not going to give up. I'm getting closer.
The honorable Juan Antonio Samaranch, right? That's all you should talk about.
Yeah. Juan Antonio Samaranch. They would give him like, you know, Ben would give him like gold plates, you know, the recognition, and then in exchange, Juan Samaranch, whatever.
I think Ben would try to shoot for him.
He would send him a letter, dear Ben. You know,
Ben would give him like a Blackman massage. What, you want to get a steak? Come on, Juan. We're going for a steak and a glass of red wine. He'd try to get him drunk probably to get him to go along. He got him so drunk one night. He probably said, "All right, I'll think about putting in the Olympics," and that was it. Ben went the next year to the Olympics. He's like, we're being considered. Remember they would say. Remember they had that whole thing that it was like on a temporary trial basis or something like that. Oh my God!
It was like a dating game on a international level. Like, would you like to go on a date with me? No, but I'll take your number. How's that?
It was funny. That was very funny. But
I wonder if he was disappointed when he was getting near the end of his life. They never did it.
I think Joe was, like Chris said, was thrilled that they didn't do it because he didn't have to drug test these guys anymore.
It wasn't about the drug test. Joe had
because it was ruining the competition, Chris. Because Joe didn't want to drug test the guys. He knew that was costing him money.
Listen, Joe was the Olympics. I mean, he had
I know that, but Joe didn't want to have to drug test these guys, you know?
I know, but there's no advantage to Joe to having bodybuilding in the Olympics.
No, you're right, 100%.
You know what? because you know what Joe would say? If pressed, he would say, they have the Olympics every 4 years. We have the Olympia every year. In other words, in his mind, who cares about the Olympics?
Right.
The Olympia is the #1 show.
Yep.
We have it every year. And he would go through the statistics. Sold out, Arnold 7 times, Lee Haney. In Joe's mind, Lee Haney trumps, any Olympic, champion in any sport. Because that's, his, the irony is it goes against what Joe created. In Joe's mind, the Olympia and what he created, professional bodybuilding, especially the Olympia. The Olympia is his. Joe Weider's Olympia. That's why he created that song and put on it Joe Weider's Olympia. That was his
Olympia, Mr.
That's his
Olympia.
legacy and his baby. He doesn't need the Olympics.
Chris, do you think Joe liked having bodybuilding just under his guidance? You know what I mean? Do you, like, if he looked at the movie Pumping Iron, do you think, and even the book Pumping Iron, do you think he looked at it like, oh no, these guys are trying to take bodybuilding into the mainstream. This is my thing. I want to keep it here in the Weider magazines.
Joe liked to control everything from A to Z.
Yeah.
Joe's favorite 2 words are, and will always be, I created. And so anything other than those 2 words is an antithesis and competition to what his whole entire life work was. He would tell you that he created, I created the magazines, I created the Olympia, I created bodybuilding training with my principles.
So it would make sense that he wouldn't want it in the Olympics because that would take it out of his control.
I created sports supplements. There's a lot of truth to all of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so, like, whenever there was like Olympic speeches, I would always think like, God, Joe must be cringing because he could care less.
Yeah. Well, he didn't want to give the IOC the reins of the bodybuilding organization.
Oh my God, he would never, dude. If Juan Samaranch showed up on a horse and said, "Ben, it's in the Olympics, and we have to, and we're picking the judges, and we, and not Joe." Good luck. There would have been a quiet civil war, Dave.
And Joe would have won. He would have.
Yeah, there is no way.
Joe's like the Bella Caroli of like the bodybuilding world, But Bella Caroli was the gymnastics. Speaking of which, have you seen Simone Biles cleaning up? Wow.
Yeah.
Great comeback for her. After what happened last year, she had to drop out. She got the twisties. She couldn't find out where she was in the space. She does skills that the men can't do. It's incredible. It's really incredible. All right. Let's look at the 212 winner. Jordan Janowitz. First pro win, I believe, right?
Yeah, were you there for the 212s in the Classic?
I missed the 212. I did see the Classic, though.
All right. Here's Jordan Janowitz.
Third.
Talk to me about Jordan Janowitz. Chris, why did he win the show?
Density, muscularity, size for a 212 guy, just checks all the boxes that you when you judge in a show as a judge that you can get comfortable with. Like, is he big enough? Yes. Is he hard enough? Yes. Is he dense enough? Yes. And then after that, you just got to say, like, okay, how's the symmetry? Good enough for all those other things to win the show.
Yeah.
That's why?
Let's see. He won with
probably straight ones, right?
So I'm looking right now. Let's see. I gotta hand it to Tim. He had a lot of divisions in this show, and he had to give out a ton of prize money. You have to.
Big show.
He didn't win straight first. Marcus Costa, who was second, got a first place vote too.
There you go. Good. Well, then that's
so it wasn't a blowout. That's for sure. Can you believe David Henry is still placing top 3 at these shows?
He looked
David
great,
Henry has got to be. He's got to be in his 50s, right?
I think he is 50.
Wow.
Unbelievable, right?
Still got that crazy most muscular too.
Yeah, he still looks good. Let's pull up the. They get this. Oh, they have this footage sideways up here. I don't know what the freak they're doing. This footage. Yeah, they unfortunately they have all the.
News has good, very good pictures on it.
Oh, they do. NPC has.
NPC News, yeah, they have. They're not up. I don't think category by category, but they may be. But the pictures I've seen on NPC News are excellent.
Yeah, these. I don't know why these. They have this website.
Yeah,
I'm looking at.
They're on. You'll see them there.
Let me see if I can pull up. I'm just so impressed with David Henry that he's still doing it after all these years. What do you think? Maybe he's retired now because he was in the military and he never really was able to do 100% because they could drug test you. He had to do. He had to be. He had to go on calls and stuff like that, and he didn't really have the freedom to do what he needed to do. I think now that has more time, I think that's why he's really competing so much again. But it's amazing. We've said it before. It seems like the guys that are shorter tend to last a little longer in the sport. They don't get as beat up as badly. The bigger guys tend to not age as well in bodybuilding. Maybe it's because they have to watch their weights. I don't know.
That's why 18-wheeler, you know what I mean? It's big trucks versus, Pintos. I mean, smaller vehicles, big vehicles last less time than smaller vehicles to wear and tear.
Right.
Was Phil Klahar supposed to be in the show tonight?
What's that?
Phil Klahar, wasn't he supposed to be in the show?
Yeah, I think he was, wasn't he? Did he drop out?
Yeah, he wasn't there.
Oh, he didn't come back. He was in the prejudging.
Oh, he was?
He was in the.
I didn't see that.
Maybe he got sick or something like that. I can't find those pictures. Sorry, I'm not going to keep looking. I don't want to make everyone wait. But yeah, I think Phil maybe something happened to him because that's not really like him. Usually, he's always I thought he'd be one of the top 5 guys in this lineup actually.
Yeah.
Here's the guy who came in second. I found his video. Hold on, let's pull him up.
Yeah, he looks good too.
Yeah. And like I said, he got a first place vote, so judges must have been pretty impressed. Yeah. Marcus Costa.
Well, he's wide, he's wide with deep separated legs. And
this guy wrote, last year I posted about him miraculously surviving a suicide attempt, jumping off a 10-story building years ago. In 23, he turned pro at the Amateur Olympia, and now he's making his pro debut at Tampa. What a testimony. Wow. Damn. I got to get that. Yeah. Marcus, contact me. I got to get you on the show. We got to talk about this. This is crazy. Right?
How far did he jump? 10 stories?
10 stories. Try to kill himself.
How the hell did he survive that?
God wanted him to survive. That's how he survived. Some people are just not meant to go yet, and it's a miracle, really. That's crazy, right?
Yeah, that is crazy.
I mean, I would assume he had to have some damage from that jump. Maybe broke his ankles or something. I don't know. I gotta interview him. That's a story there. I walked from Afghanistan to Greece. Was impressive. This might be a better story. You know what I'm talking about, Chris? The men's physique guy I interviewed.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was unbelievable. He'll probably, like you said, he might win the Olympia, that guy. All right, let's pull up something else here. All right. So this was a close. Did you see the Classic at all? Or was that on Friday?
Yeah. I saw it.
Give me a rundown on the Classic for 1 and 2.
I was really impressed with that winner. I never saw him before. He was very impressive, very wide.
Classic was won by Justin Badarino. Matter of fact, I think he contacted me. He wants to be on the TV show, tell his story. Let me pull him up.
You guys
find him. No, he's like a new guy.
What do you think of him?
Amin Ali was there, and he was talking to him. And look at this guy. Got the good ponytail too. Doug Wentz would say, right? A good ponytail, can't beat that.
And he's very tall.
Yeah, he's a good looking guy. Looks like he's a model,
Yeah. Great glutes.
Yeah, he's got a very good physique. Very good physique.
How wide his back is.
Yeah. Bob Grushka would love him, right?
Oh yeah,
That's a Bob look.
Rich Beretta. Looks like a Rich Beretta.
Yeah, you're right. A little bit, yeah.
Great front lat spread.
He looks like Doug Wentz a little bit with hair, He's got the same face.
Why does he win, John? Why does he win the show? Because you beat a very good Brazilian Zanka.
I think it was just, the structure, the width, overall impact. I mean, when I walked in doing his routine, and the crowd was going crazy.
He beat Gabriel Zaccanelli from Brazil, who Chris is talking about.
Yeah.
No, wait, hold on, am I reading this? Yes.
How's he doing the Olympia, John?
I think he could be top 5, 6.
Yeah.
I think he's another like Wesley Vissers, like in the making, that type of physique. Very impressive, classic, throwback looking physique, except I think he might be better.
Yeah, it's funny you say that, Dave. When I walked in, it kind of reminded me like a Barry DeMay or something posing. He was tall, he looked like he had that classic Greek god type of look,
Yeah. He's got a very big wide back too, with wide shoulders. I mean,
John, don't say Greek god. That's associated with the Olympics. This is
the kind of physique though that you need to go up against the Bumstead. You're not going to beat Bumstead. A short guy is not going to beat Bumstead. Someone like this guy is going to beat Bumstead. Another good-looking guy with a big structure.
Yeah, Dave. I think you've mentioned on the show before how the tall guys look way better in classic, and they really do. There was a couple tall guys in this lineup, and they do really stand out.
Yeah, because that's Arnold. That's Arnold's day. There was no short classic guys. They were the short guys were just bodybuilders. It was the classic look was that tall, lanky guy like
the short guys were like Franco, and he wasn't classic.
Right. No, you're right. Well, congratulations. We'll get him on the show and get his story too. So we got some new faces, and I like to see new faces because it means that they were getting, a lot of people. I did a few interviews for a different bunch of podcasts this past weekend. I don't know when they're going to be up. One for the Underdog podcast, and I did one with these Go Figure, and these two girls two competitors out of Australia had a podcast, and we were talking about that. I said, and they were asking me about what I felt the future of bodybuilding was, and was it a better future than what we've seen in the past? I said, yeah. I said, the divisions are all growing. We have multiple divisions. I said we have a lot of people. Yeah, at the national level, we're not seeing maybe as many competitors in the bodybuilding and the classic, because it's a little divided. But at the pro level, we see a lot of depth. And that to me is what's important. And it's a lot of new people coming up. Back in the 90s and early 2000s, how many pros did we really get out of bodybuilding? We got 3, right? We got the North American champion, the national champion, and we got the USA champion. And maybe we got like one more from nationals that was like a weight class winner. But if of those 4 people, maybe 2 of them were significant, right, where they would make an impact on the pro ranks. It's the same way today, even though they give out 150 pro cards to the men, or maybe more, right? If you get 3 or 4 good guys out of that whole lot, that's still good. That's still enough to feed the division and keep, the interest at a very high level of competition. And that's what we're getting. We're still getting that same gene pool. It's just we're giving more pro cards out to guys that maybe don't deserve it, but they're not impacting the top of the pro league. And I think that's important, to mention.
I think that classic winner, I think this was his first pro show.
That's what he said. It was his debut. Yeah. So, I mean, This kid is new. Look at the guy who won the the guy who jumped off the building. We were talking about who came in second at the 212. Yeah. These guys are all new guys. They're all making their debuts. We're going to see these guys for the next 10 years ostensibly or more.
Yeah,
and that means that there's a good future for bodybuilding. For a while, maybe about 6 or 7 years back, it was getting a little nervous. We had like a lot of older guys winning stuff. And there were no young guys, and we were like, "What the hell's going to happen to the top of the pro ranks when all these guys retire?" And so we got our answer. We got a lot of young talent that's coming up, and some of these guys in Classic might wind up being in the Open at some point, because they're young enough. These guys are in early 20s and everything like that.
Yeah.
We have a lot more pro shows available nowadays. We have Texas next week. I mean, that's going to be a big one. Who's in that lineup beside Andrew Jack? Do we know yet?
Yeah, I don't know who's in the lineup.
You're going to be there, Chris, correct?
Yeah, I'm going to be there. Probably, the mix of the people who were, at Tampa and.
Is Labrada doing that show?
No, he's doing Italy.
Oh, that's weird that he's doing that. I'm surprised he usually he does that Texas show every year. Let me pull up his thing. He did a guest posing this past weekend.
I saw that. Yeah.
See that?
I think it was the Labrada show. I think it was Lee Labrada.
Yeah. I see his name in the back. Yeah. What do you think, Chris? Better or worse than last year?
I think that I think Labrada is. This is not a good. This is not representative of what he looks like. It's like there's a gloss on the video. But
when is this Italy show, John?
I don't know.
I think he looks very good. I think he's big and dense and hard and bigger than before.
Back looks great.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say his back looks great. Let's see when turn around. I can't see it on my iPhone. That's why I'm looking on my computer screen.
Italy is September 8th. All right, so he's got about a month or a little bit more, maybe 5 weeks for that. Yeah, so that should be enough time to get in shape.
Yeah.
How many more shows after that, Dave, until the Olympia?
You have the UK. There's a UK Pro show, the September 14th. The Legion Sports Fest is the September 27th weekend. There's a show the 28th in France, the France Pro show.
Wow.
And then the Olympia is right after that. So the 28th, I guess, assuming that they allow I don't think they're going to allow that France show to be a qualifier. Maybe they will. If it is, then that would be the last qualifier, the Legion Sports Fest and the France Pro show. So there's still quite a few qualifiers left before the end of the year. Yeah. Everyone should be able to get qualified that needs to get qualified. The way I see it, at least.
Yeah, that's quite a few shows.
Yeah. I think Labrada. I think he's made a lot of improvements. I think he's added some size. If he can get his father's conditioning on stage, with his mass and structure, he's very dangerous because he's symmetrically, very hard to beat when he's in shape. He's got a small waist. He's got broad shoulders. He's got great legs, and he really has no weaknesses either. But he seems to have.
You're always nailing it. He's like a Delarosa.
Yeah, but he has trouble nailing his conditioning, like Delarosa had early in his career. And I don't know if it's an age thing or if it's some sort of a diet issue. I don't know.
No, he mostly has trouble at the Olympia.
You think it's a nerve thing? I think it's a nerve thing.
I think it's a nerve thing. I mean,
because he'll do Tampa and he'll look like he's the world beater, and then he'll show up at the Olympia and he's off, So
he looked amazing in Tampa last year. Yeah.
We got to get him a sports psychologist, I think. Where's Pete? Oh, Pete Siegel died already. Sorry, we can't get him. You remember Pete Siegel, Chris?
Another Joe promoted him too. He'd be right.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Of course. He wasn't. Nobody knew who Pete Siegel was until Joe.
A lot of articles in Muscle and Fitness about Pete Siegel.
Really? I didn't even know it.
Yeah.
I interviewed him on the show.
Created in Joe's mind because he featured him. He created sports psychology. I created.
He probably did. Pete probably told him he's a psychologist. He goes, well, let's make a category for you. You know, come on.
He created the WEIDER principle. He created supersets. He created the negative. He created peak contraction.
The WEIDER positive thinking principle.
Instinctive training.
Instinctive training principle, right?
The flushing principle, the cheating principle.
You know why? Do you know why we all know these? You know why we all know these principles? Like, why would we think about? Why would we know the names of all these principles? And like, as if we took a college course together.
Right.
Because we read the only magazine that was around.
Yeah.
We read all the magazines from cover to cover 40 times over. We read those magazines, and he just kept reiterating it over and over. All these WEIDER principles. You know, who the heck knew that people worked out before Joe WEIDER invented all these principles, right? We believed it.
Well, I mean, he's old enough and went through a span enough where there's a lot of truth that he did. I mean, he might not, he labeled those. You know,
great marketer.
He was very good marketer.
Yeah.
You know, Blackman's probably like, I should have come up with it first. I was doing instinctive training back before Joe even called it that.
Right. Yeah, that was another one. Instinctive training principle.
But
the instinctive training, Joe would say, is when you take all the principles and you know when to apply them at the right time.
Who created giant sets? That's what I want to know. Is that a Joe WEIDER too?
No, there was one that Dan Lurie had come up with, and then Joe stole it from him, and I forget what it. Joe, you know which one it was?
No.
I'm trying to think where I read about giant sets first. Was that a Joe principle?
Of course, it was a Joe principle.
Yeah.
Google the WEIDER training principles and see what comes up, Dave. WEIDER training principles. What are the top WEIDER training principles?
Yeah, let's see. All right, let's see. Hold
on. John, you know Joe was 10 million miles ahead of everybody when he came up with Shape magazine.
Mm-hmm.
He came up with Shape magazine, and it was a magazine for women who just wanted to be in shape. And you're like, what are you doing venturing? It was like that magazine sold like crazy.
Wow.
And then he did like Shape Pregnancy or something, and for pregnant women only.
I'm shocked he came out with that, because I know it probably didn't interest him at all.
Well, it didn't interest him. You know what, Dave? It's like this. What does Dave have that supplement for? It's got nothing to do with bodybuilding.
All right, hold on.
You know what I mean? It's part of a species line, but it's for
He only went from muscle builder to muscle and fitness. Everybody's like,
that was a big risk,
Yeah.
All right, WEIDER principle number 1: the progressive overload.
Yeah, you gotta keep
Satona.
The multi-set principle.
Yeah, muscle confusion principle, right, John?
Oh yeah.
The isolation principle, so you can isolate the muscle.
Yeah,
using the arm blaster.
Muscle confusion. There's your muscle confusion.
Muscle confusion is when you do instead of doing coming in and doing on chest day bench press incline decline, you switch them around, confuse.
Yeah, you confuse it up a little bit.
Or when you don't know what to train when you go to the gym.
You prioritize your weak body parts, right?
Yes. So when you go in and your abs are terrible, you work abs first thing and everything else.
First. Yeah.
How about staggered sets? Is that one in there?
Pyramid training method is number 6.
Yeah, when you do 12, 10, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, when you
right.
Yeah.
There it is, right there. The split training method. So you don't train each body part every day.
Is split training when you do like one body part in the morning, one at night?
Yeah.
That's double split. That was a double split.
Oh, sorry, John,
I think
double split.
It's splitting your body parts up, Chris. I think it is, right? Yeah. Monday chest, Tuesday legs, Wednesday back.
Yeah, wait, Dave, because he would say before that people would go in and they'd do everything in one day.
Yeah. I'm sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's what. WEIDER Principle 8, pump method.
I don't know about the pump. I never heard of the pump method.
WEIDER
Yeah.
believed that
I
increasing
think he
blood
called it something
circulation
else.
was important for growth.
That was probably the flushing principle.
Yeah, flushing.
The superset method. Oh, he did. He laid claim to the superset, Chris. Okay.
Well, Milos is in dispute of that, but go ahead.
No, the giant set is something different. Supersetting would be like push pull supersets, like bicep curls and like tricep push
No,
downs.
because there are two different types of supersets. Joe, you could do like superset for chest, like bench press and cable crossovers, or you could do Joe with like chest and back.
Yeah, he's got to listen there.
The cycle training method. Oh, there's Fat Lee Priest right there. So you would do 8 to 12 week different cycles.
I think that much later. He added that one much later in his life.
What was the isotension method? Flexing in between sets? Yeah, posing between sets.
Yeah. That's
peak contraction.
Peak contraction, yeah, squeezing at the top.
You got to squeeze. You got to squeeze. The mind-muscle connection principle. Oh, yeah.
That one I don't know. That one is
I don't know that one either. I think they made a couple of these up. I got to go through some of my old magazines and find out which.
You really needed to feel the target muscle working for an exercise to be effective. That's the mind-muscle connection. All right. The cheating method. Oh, you remember the cheating method? You can cheat a little bit sometimes.
Yeah, cheating to get the last couple reps. It's not cheating.
That's right.
Get past the sticking point.
Instinctive training principle.
The
instinctive training.
That's when you've mastered them all and you know when to do them. You know, that's when you know, like, okay, today I'm going to do muscle confusion because I feel like it.
Right. It's like when Kai Green comes in and does a little glute training on one day, you know. Trisets and giant. Oh, he claims giant sets too and trisets. All right, there you go. That was WEIDER Principle 16. Yep. 17 is the rest pause. Oh, we forgot rest pause, right?
Rest pause is a great principle.
I thought Mike Menser came up with that one.
He may have, and Joe stole it.
Joe stole it from him.
Stole it after he fired Menser.
The partial reps, aka Burns method. All right, so that's a Tom Platz expert. That's a Tom Platz special, right? Yeah. He would do the parts. And descending sets method. Oh my God, remember that?
Descending sets. What was that?
Yeah.
I don't know
I don't remember that one either. Oh, drop sets.
Oh yeah, drop sets. Yeah.
Retro gravity. I never heard of that one.
That was the Dan Lurie one, Dave. That was the one he took from Dan Lurie.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, retro gravity.
Is that on the inversion table?
No, I think this is when you do the eccentric movement, maybe, right? You load the bar with more weight than you can lift on your own, have a training partner help you get the bar up, and then lower it yourself, the eccentric under control. Yeah, because continuous tension method. You lift and lower your weights under control, neither pausing at the top of each rep or at the bottom. In other words, once you start your set, the weights keep moving until you're unable to continue.
Yeah.
The double split method. There's the double split method. The guys in Gold's Venice used to go back to the gym twice a day. Quads in the morning, calves at night. The staggered sets method. What was that?
I think that was like if you had like weak calves, you would do a set of calves after every set of your normal workout.
Oh really? I think you're right.
You end up doing like 20 or 30 sets of calves, you know.
Oh my God.
They weren't all in a row. They were just split up. They're staggered.
Superset method. All right, we know that.
Speed.
Staggered set.
Quality training method. The name of the method is quite confusing, but that doesn't mean it's not effective. With the WEIDER quality training method, you gradually reduce the length of your rest times between sets. Interesting. Never heard of that one. Well, that's it. There were 25 WEIDER principles of training.
It's like the Constitution. It's like the Constitution of bodybuilding.
There you go. Moses had 10 commandments. WEIDER had 25 training principles. There you go.
They were taught at the WEIDER Training Clinic.
Milo says that a couple of them are redundant. He's saying there's really only 22. I think he said.
Yeah, well, the drop sets, the supersets, and the giant sets, Milos would encompass into one idea.
Put them together. Put them together. That's right. That's right. Well, John, I want to thank you for joining us tonight and wrapping up the Tampa Pro. Congratulations, Tim Gardner. Another successful year you put that on. It was a great show. I know all the athletes were raving about how, they loved the show, and it's multiple days now. And I was actually going to go up there, but I had to have my kids on Saturday afternoon, so I didn't want to miss them. But maybe next year I'll get up there. But he always puts on a great show. And I know our friend Amin. Did you see Amin there? Amin was there with Susie, I think.
No.
Oh, yeah, he was there the whole weekend. And who else was there? Someone else told me they were there. They wanted me to come up and hang out, but I didn't have time.
Years, so coming up on.
Is it 17 years? Wow! Oh my God! You know what? I think I remember when they first launched it. Didn't Dan originally launch that show as a Pro Bodybuilding Weekly radio?
I think
show?
So. Yeah. Yeah.
His radio show sponsored that show initially. Him and Tim put that show together.
Tim mentioned that in his speech.
It was called the Pro Bodybuilding Weekly. show.
He held it at the Strauss Center, which is a big theater in Tampa. He held it there for the first 2 years, and then he went to the Grand Hyatt.
Yeah, I think it was too expensive there, probably.
Yeah, it's huge theater. Yeah, that's where they had the big money.
Big money. I think bodybuilding.com was sponsoring it those first couple of years when Dan was, because that's where he had his radio show, if you remember.
Yeah, that's true.
Dan had the first bodybuilding radio show, and bodybuilding.com was sponsoring. They were probably paying him a fortune. And they were putting up big money for bodybuilding at that time. And then we launched, when I was in muscular development, we launched the Noble radio show that was opposite theirs. And then when we went to RX Muscle, we had, a heavy muscle radio that went opposite them. But eventually bodybuilding.com kind of pulled the plug on it. Dan went over he actually was supposed to come to us, and then he went to Blackman for a while, and then stopped doing the show. So we won. No, just kidding. No, we're just tenaciously relentless on this on RX Muscle. That's all. We don't give up. We don't stop. And congratulations to Ronnie Coleman on getting the Ben Weider Lifetime Achievement Award, and John Delarosa. Great job. I'm so happy to see you're going to be going back to the Olympia. That's awesome. So he's got to be super happy about that. And we're going to wrap up tonight, as we say every week, with Heavy Muscle Radio, guys.
The truth hurts. You got it.
See you guys next week.